I'm at the top of my game like a flame on a wick, cause I shift with precision and vision like Vic. I learned how to grow from a loss like a boss. The loss was the spice and the key to my sauce. I'm the best in the lane like a dunk from LeBron. Winners are valued, the rest are upon. I'm the hottest but without burning lava in the pit. Every bar that I kick is Johnny Cage when he's pissed. Your level is average like playing Hitman. You're focused to leverage your money lifespan. I'm focused to change out the layout floor plan. My impact magnificent, elegant, man.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of Truth Over Feelings TV. I'm your host, Conscious, and I'm coming to bring to you a new topic today over private security taking over America. Now, to get right into this, this is your first time viewing my content. Make sure you like, make sure you share, make sure you subscribe, make sure you comment, and most important, make sure you turn on them bell notifications, because that puts you ahead of everybody to know when the content comes out. So without further ado, let's jump right into this. So, also big shout out to DJ Meek for asking me giving me the opportunity to come on Fox 26 very own Isaiah Carey show. But unfortunately, due to a time constraint for personal issues, I couldn't make it at the time. But I definitely will be doing my part on the subject. For sure, I have a lot to talk about, but I'm going to try to keep it as brief as possible. And I am qualified to speak on this topic because I've been in the security industry and worked in the security industry for over 12 years. And coming from a business owner as well in that aspect, I'm qualified to talk about this. So let's get right into it. So first of all, let's talk about why this is. For one, I mean, that's the beauty of this show. I get to be unfiltered as much as possible, or however I want to. So we're going to be very unfiltered. One of the reasons why this is coming into play is, let's be honest, there's a lot of people that are not happy with the performance of the police in America. And this is not calling any specific department out. This is just speaking in general. The overall totality of the behavior of the policing in America is deplorable. And there's a lot of factors we can go into to why that is, but we're going to keep on topic for this episode. If you want to see me get into detail on this topic, on the deep depth about policing and why they are the way they are, then comment below and I'll see if the majority of the votes will rule, right? But for the most part, like I said, people are tired of the unfortunate events that have occurred due to fearful, untrained police officers. Just be honest. I mean, every situation doesn't require you to pull your firearm as a way of de-escalating the situation out of fear, honestly. Because I've seen personally firsthand, and I have friends that are in law enforcement, and the way how they handle situations in their protocol, they don't resort to the gun first. The definition of using de-escalation is to use verbal de-escalation. That means to bring the situation down verbally and to not entertain aggressive behavior with aggression. That should be the first step in de-escalation. Verbal, not physical, not resorting right to your gun immediately because you're afraid that the situation will go left. But what people fail to realize, and what police officers fail to realize, everything comes down to energy. So if you come into the situation aggressive, you come into the situation holding your gun before the person even have a word out, you're already making them feel uncomfortable. And the natural reaction for them to respond to that type of manner is to fight force with force, because they're just as scared as you are, if not more, because you're the one with the gun out and branding. So back to the security situation. One of the reasons why America could be going towards or heading towards security officers or security guards is because there's levels of customer service. I think customer service has a lot to do with why people prefer to deal with security over police officers. The average security guard or security officer, depending on what level. So let me actually, I should break down to you the levels of security so you get a better understanding of the difference between the security guard and a security officer. So typically there's 3 levels of security. There is the level 2 security guard unarmed. There is the armed officer. And yeah, there's a difference because he's deemed officer title commissioned officer because he has more training than a security guard who is unarmed. So there is a difference, and he actually has more authority in respective private property areas than a security guard would. So pretty much the guys who drive around on the cart don't have any authority other than to observe and report. Whereas the security officer has authority to observe, report, and use the necessary level of force required to handle any situation. But he also knows that he must de-escalate first before he use any level of force that is required for that situation. And it's actually more prominent in security to de-escalate, talk the person down. You see it a lot more times than none versus them having to revert to violence. Now, the untrained will do opposite, but in general, you see security guards or security officers are willing to talk people down from that situation or talk them out of it. Now, I feel like if police took that same approach and put more effort into that, there will be less police brutality in America, just from one standpoint. Outside of that, yeah, on another issue too is the 911 calls, right? There's a lot of instances where police don't show up when you call 911. A lot of times they're none. And people are getting frustrated by that because they're feeling like, okay, if my life's in danger, I'm supposed to call emergency units and they're supposed to respond at a timely manner. There's times where the police units don't respond at all, which leads the person to fend off that situation as they see fit. So the fact that people are reverting to security officers as the solution, because what that does, that allows a continuous presence, right? Or deterrent, as the politically correct way of saying it. It continues to let the bad guy or the enemy or whoever you want to call it, or who just use bad guy. It continues to use the bad guy to know, oh, there's a presence here, and I got to pick and choose if I really want to choose this spot or really want to do this crime here, right? But the crime will take place if they don't see a presence there. So the continuous presence also reassures the client that the chances of something happening here is very slim, because now they have to pick and choose if they really want this fight with this person, right? So a lot of times in crime areas, it happens during places where There's not enough presence. And what that causes is a bigger problem for the police, because the police now has to respond to these type of calls over and over and over in certain areas, right? Now let's talk about on the police side. I got friends that have to deal with like 6,500 calls a day, which is a lot. So I'm not going to just sit here and say, oh, well, it's easy to go through 6,000 calls on average per officer, because that's a lot. However, we're also watching a decline in the hiring process of police. A lot of people actually are stepping down from that position due to the George Floyd situation and after that situation, because it's not safe to be a police officer out here anymore. It's just dangerous times. So it's a lot going on in America, and this is my opinion. In my opinion, I think that I don't think that police should be replaced, because security guards and security officers can't do everything. They can't be everywhere, right? But I do think that the protocol of their training needs to be a lot longer. 6 months is not enough time. You got to ask yourself, 6 months of training, that's like, and I'm going to use this as a simile to compare the situation. That's like if a boxer trained for 6 months and then he had to take on the world in boxing. How successful do you think he would be on the streets if he only had 6 months worth of training? Not that good. And what proves that point is because they have to have X amount of amateur fights before they even can think about being a qualifier of a good professional pro, right? So that means that there's a time frame to where you have to put at least a couple years in, I would say, maybe 2-3 years. And I'm being generous with that, to be considered a solid pro. 6 months is just not enough time. I think police officers should have anywhere from 2 to 3 years minimum, because what's showing is the lack of training is the reason why they're reacting the way they're reacting, outside of other factors that I refuse to talk about in this episode. But lack of training does show for sure. Versus the people, the officers that are more calmer in instances where they don't resort to their gun, they actually talk to the person and they hear them out. They naturally have a higher reaction rate or they have a better rate of leaving that situation successful and it not escalating into something else. Right? So maybe the police officer that's having a bad day might be a little bit more irritated than normal. And then when he goes into that situation, he doesn't realize he brings that energy onto the person he's talking to. And then they're receiving that energy. And now it's starting to become a higher level situation to where now people are getting aggressive. People are responding aggressive with basic things that he's trying to get from them, like information, like via ID and insurance. But everything is energy, man. You have to really be conscious of your energy that you bring to people, and be aware that that type of energy can affect other people. We're all energy. It's like if you're a happy person and you're in a room full of angry people, it's going to rub off on you, because it's just that is an energy that is opposing force that is greater than yours. But if you're in a room full of positive people and you're negative, at some point they're going to get to you. You're going to become somewhat more positive than you originally came into that room, because energy just transfers that way. But that's all I pretty much had to say about this issue. America is turning into something that we didn't expect, right? But just be prepared for the unexpected. If you like this content, once again, make sure you like, share, subscribe, comment, turn on bell notifications. You guys stay safe out there. I love y'all. Peace.